Marty Greatmeyer present.
That is Story present. Greg Dennis present.
And John Patterson. Public comment on matters not listed on this agenda. Okay. Approval of minutes. Approval of minutes for August 15th, 2024 regular meeting.
Well, just a couple comments. Because Pam and I had a talk about when Pam Roberts went through and said can't hire people under state law with regards to nepotism or whatever it is. And I agreed with her after I saw that, and the meeting minutes came back that it looks like I was saying that, yeah, we ought to put that into the book or the, and I'm not sure that's the case. So
Okay, that is what you said though.
okay. Well, if you look later on, I agreed with Pam that that's state law and we didn't maybe need to do anything. So
Okay,
you could check that out.
I will. I'll look
I
and
just
see.
wanted to clarify that, but I don't think we need to do anything. I didn't want to add extra workload for people.
I know,
when
I know.
In fact, we don't need to do anything.
I was the one saying that.
Okay, well, you were the one, okay, well, I
Yeah.
didn't disagree there at all. Thank you.
I was the one saying put it in the book or whatever. Right?
Yes, yeah,
know
that's what I
you did.
recall. You wanted to
I
do it.
wanted to do that.
And I wasn't sure because it's just state law says you can't do it, period. It's real simple. So I didn't know if we really need anything in the books. That's my only comment. Thank you. Move to approve. Does anybody else have it?
Is it amended?
As amended?
All in favor?
I,
Opposed? Motion carried. Review of bills and other financial matters, review of transaction report.
Okay, so on this particular transaction report, just something to note, we did have, because of the timing of the meeting being a little later in the month, since the first fell on a Friday, there's 3 payrolls, and then there's also 3 contractor invoices, so that is a little higher than usual. And then October will be a little less. And we had Sean was able to acquire the new trailer. So there is the asset purchase listed on here as well. He was able to get that on Tuesday. So we went ahead and added that on. So we had the ending accounts. We did have the ad valorem started paying as well for September for the new tax rate season. So we had our $155,000 payment in there. So that is the transactions.
Review of bills for approval of payment.
can I just make a comment, I guess, about the transaction report before we move on to the next one? I was a little struck by, and I talked to Robin and Angie a little bit about this before the meeting, and they explained some of the reasons why they were higher. But when I added all the costs, bills for Robin and for Angie and for Kathy, in this transaction report, it's $3,385 and some cents for Angie, $3,420 and some cents for Robin, and $3,174 and some cents for Kathy. That's a lot of money that we're spending. And I found out that like on the bookkeeping, there was some extra work with the audit. Also, there was an extra pay period, so that means there's more time put in. I'm a little bit concerned about the bill from Kathy, simply because I believe the contract was, we anticipated about $15,000 for a year, and if it's $3,000 a month, that's going to be used up pretty quickly, and so I would just like to, at some point, maybe with you, John, just kind of go over some of the work that she's performing and see if there's some stuff maybe we can say, hey, we're okay, we don't need you to do that kind of thing, so that we can carve back a little bit of time and money. Because I think she's been helpful, but, you know, we also need to be conscientious about, you know, the money. So,
Yeah, I know, and on that note, I thought, Dan, that it was gonna be kind of, working the three independent contractors really together. It was gonna be more cumbersome, like involved for a couple of months.
Yeah.
And then I think it's gonna probably, level off to where, and I don't know what you guys feel, but yeah, I was actually on the Kathy side, if I was gonna get with Kathy and cut her loose on the board handbook.
yeah, because there's certain things like, you know, reviewing the minutes now at this point, I feel really comfortable that these
Right,
guys
right,
know
yeah.
how to do that. I mean,
Yes.
there's several things like that that I think
Yep.
they are A-okay on,
Yep.
and I just, yeah, anyway,
So there's some things that don't need to be done by her.
correct,
And there
that's
are
what,
some things that we need, and we need to be more specific about our direction, so
what we really need from her, yeah, yeah. Yeah, but she's definitely got a lot of history, expertise, and knowledge, so
Well, she just came on, so I figured she was just trying to clean up stuff and get back to our two employees and make sure that everything was kosher, but we'll see. You say something?
Okay,
that's it, I'm good.
good, okay. Review of bills for approval of payment?
All right, so the large bill, kind of already approved it at the prior meetings, but it is on the bottom, again, for the trailer. And then we have a credit this month for United Healthcare. So next month, our invoice will be $2,500 to the $2,589, but this month it was only $2,300. So we will be paying that next week. It comes out of the account, but there's not a lot going on this month. We had $8,000 to pay for the remaining of the month that hasn't already cleared the account.
Any questions? Any public comment on the bill? Someone want to make a motion?
I'll move to approve paying the bills.
I got a second from Nevada, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
On the net operating report, we have two reports this month because the fiscal year 23-24, the payments ended in August. So this first report, as of August 31st, is recapping basically last year's information so that we can see, kind of have a good idea of how it hit the budget and how the actuals hit. So we did budget $994,000, and it came in at almost $968,000. So it was a little short of what we budgeted. But overall, through the years, on the reporting that we do for the net op report, Kathy had actually, when she set it up, she was pretty correct on the numbers the other way. So our estimate was under. So we did have a little overage in the account according to our reporting. So we did, yeah. So just things to note on, Commissioner Herman was able to secure that donation, which we used on this year, the 24 seal coat project, which will reflect on the 25 reporting. And for fiscal year overall from July 1st to June 30th of 2024, we spent $292,000 on road maintenance and improvement projects overall. And the breakdown was $202,000 for last year's seal coat, $32,000 for the broken spur project, $52,000 for the aggregate surfacing, and about $5,000 for some other minor improvements.
So this isn't this year's seal coat project?
No, this is last year.
Because it was,
Yeah, this
it
is
was
last
more
year.
than that.
Yeah, no, this is last year.
Okay,
Then July of 23.
okay.
I have a couple of comments or questions. Pam Roberts for the record. first of all, looking at the estimated operating funds for road improvements, you did note that there was, and you just spoke about it, that our budget was not, there was a difference and
Correct.
we spent more than we had budgeted, correct?
So we spent less than we received less than we had budgeted. The budget actually comes from the state,
Right.
the 994. So that comes directly from them, but the reporting figures that we used were 939,000 and we actually received the 968.
So it really worked out fine.
Right.
We were,
Mhm.
okay, that's,
So the state said that we were going to get more than we did, but the estimates that we used, we estimated low, so we were able to not go over budget or anything.
okay, so this is this is gonna sound like a dumb question, but I'm gonna ask it, because I think I always had this question when I was in the public setting, and maybe some of them have the same question. I'm looking at that we have a 12-month reporting period that goes September 1, 2023 to August 31, and I've always, I seem to see that all the time on these. And yet our fiscal year is July 1 to June 30th. So help me with that
So
difference.
this report for the net operating funds is rolling the actual payments that we receive for the fiscal year, which begin in September. So they're trying, the attempt is to keep it all within the same report for the year. So the very first payments we start receiving for fiscal year 24-25 is September 1st.
Okay.
So that's why
That's when
this
the money
report,
starts to
that's
come in.
I
right.
asked her that too, that's
Mhm.
why she's so prepared.
So that's why the report
Okay.
starts September 1st, so that the fiscal year stays within that report itself.
And I don't know if it's on this one or your other one that you haven't, but I wrote down, it appears that the GID will have approximately $565,000 to spend on road maintenance and improvements in this next year.
Mhm.
Does that sound right? Am I pulling that out of my?
We
Sure.
budgeted for less,
Okay.
but essentially, if we do receive the estimated figures,
Which we don't.
and which we
Yeah.
don't typically,
Okay,
it's well, last year was 27,000 off, so we would have estimating that much left. Yes,
so we budgeted for.
we
how much?
budgeted for, I believe it was 297.
297, and last year we spent 292,000.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, no.
And that's over and above, or the original aggregate surfacing project is already accounted for, so that's already out of the
Right.
numbers, so that's extra. So the
Okay.
297 plus that project we already did.
Right,
And I appreciate you doing the summary for the,
Mhm.
it is helpful. It really is. Okay.
Okay, and then it does start the new project for September 1st. So it does kind of start itself over, where the capital outlay, we had a carryover of 83,000 plus a budget of 50,000. So we had a beginning balance of 133, and we did spend the 50,000 for the trailer, but we had budgeted for 60. So Sean was able to get a discount there. And then we have the carryover for the projects. We had about 50,000 left for the aggregate surfacing project, 6,300 for mag chloride. The additional budget that we put into place last meeting for the Broken Spur improvement, and then the Wilcox Ranch improvement, the Class C surfacing for the 65. So all of that together with the miscellaneous fixed expenses for insurance, workers' comp, liability, and the audit, gives us an estimate on those projects of about 252,000. And over the course of the next 11 and a half months, because August is already in half on this previous report, we'll be spending an estimated of $448,000 in miscellaneous non-road improvement expenses, payroll and other expenses.
Mhm.
So, okay.
Any other questions?
Well, it looks good. Is it really?
So we did estimate on the ops report, on the budget from the state, where ad valorem, 370,000 according to the state, or according to Washoe County. And the CTX, the consolidated, we did come in on our estimated figures to use for this report. I took it down from 657,000 to 600,000 because, like you can see on the last year, they did short us about 41,000. So we did come in low on that to say that way we don't overestimate how much funds we're going to have. And the same with the LGTA.
Plus, the state does require that we keep a certain percentage that isn't spent.
Right.
So.
Which
that-
is this bottom, this
that-
less reserve funds for the 90,000.
The buffer. So it should be good.
Thank you for that's a good analysis. Thank you.
Okay, any public comment on that? Judicial government affairs, there's none. Road reports, road operations and maintenance.
Okay, well, we got a few roads done. I had an employee for almost 2 weeks and he became a no-call, no-show and went away. Since then, I did recently had an interview and a hire. Again, we got some 2 weeks notice that's gonna be getting through, but he should be coming on board soon. Any questions on the ops report?
How would your interview go at the end of the
Good, really good.
Thank
You just finished up Amy, correct?
We did Amy the other day because we had some free water. I wish I had more free water.
You got some attaboys on that one, you get passed
Oh,
on
but
to you.
see, now I do wanna, let me say something. Because I did the intersections at Ironwood and Amy, right, short, and then Amy and Wilcox, and then that section from Wilcox to Morning Dove. And unless we get some really good water or whatever, if we really do need the mag, I'm telling you guys, we do. But it just starts unraveling and I'm losing it. If you look at Amy today, you can see where I put my seal coat, but everybody drove down the center. And you got that nice packing, but it's all unraveling on the sides. So it is a real touchy situation to regrade E without really good water and with one truck or no rain. And I'm
you.
struggling.
They fall apart quicker?
It does,
Okay,
and especially without the mag.
okay.
So if we could have magged it, and this is a test season, okay, because I want to make sure this winter, I haven't applied any mag, not that I could, because I need to add water first.
We did an example for everybody here. We did Rangeland Road with a considerable thickness on the base, and then the mag chloride. And I think in 3 years that we graded it.
No, we did, because we had some issues with somebody going and grading it, messed it up, and,
Oh, I remember that. yeah,
right,
but
and
you had
then
to fix the
I've
problem.
actually touched up a
I
couple
don't
of areas.
count that. I don't count that.
Okay, but I
But
have touched
basically,
it up.
with that road being done right, and I'm thinking about especially Wilcox going out there past Amy, because I think it's it's a turn road. It's got different stresses on the road. That one almost needs the same thing.
Well, and everything that I'm doing now is a minimum of 3 inches.
Okay.
Now, I will say that what I have allocated for on Wilcox from Amy to Quaking Aspen, there's some areas that are really good, and I have some really bad areas beyond Quaking that I'm gonna squeak them over there.
Okay. All right, you know where you got to put the material.
Oh, absolutely, and I'm trying to get it thicker because that's another thing. I've had requests on bacon rinds where it's like it got pushed off too, and then it's so thin that if I go over there, it will just contaminate what I have, so I need to just cover it. So it's just one of those, it should have been put on in the beginning thicker, but I was doing testing and We do have over 25 miles of V on these roads, and I think that's a huge asset to the district.
It's making a big difference in time, otherwise you would have really been behind.
Well, hot and wet, no rain for 3 months,
Right,
big.
that's big.
So, but we're doing okay.
We're having a problem with water,
The wells probably.
No, we don't have any wells. I
oh,
don't
no,
know.
where are we pulling our water?
Wayside and Ironwood. Ironwood, well, is whenever I'm doing Bacon's for now, axe handle area, or over on, Winnemucca. Something over there, Prairie. So, but other than that, no, our wells are doing perfect. There's no water issue. when I'm talking free water, when it came out of the sky and water, it really didn't.
Uh-oh.
No, so I was really hoping, actually, that Grass Valley West, because I've been doing road surveys early in the morning, seeing if we got deep, like leaving this morning, because then I could go over and technically, I can grade 3 to 5 miles in one day if I have to look. So,
Good luck.
So let me just call for public comment real quick. Any public comment on this? I got a public comment I need to read. And this is from Don Otto. In the recent months, many property owners on Quaking Mastern Road have presented requests to repair identified sections of our road. These requests have been on the agenda, discussed, and tabled multiple times. We wonder why. Again, we are requesting action being taken on this request quickly before winter. We have waited patiently now for a year. It was on the agenda already a year ago and tabled. FYI, I can provide 2 areas to turn semis around on my property. 6755 Big Mountain Road. Please respond in writing, respectfully.
I have a question for Sean. A couple people have asked me about the culverts, especially since we just got a little bit of rain. We're probably gonna get some more rain. Do you have a plan, like?
yeah, I'm gonna be cleaning with the backhoe here. I've actually even finished up some areas with the backhoe today to make sure that.
So you've already started that, is
Yes.
what you're saying?
Yep.
Okay, all right, thank you. They will be happy to hear that.
I think he remembers Larry Johnson. Fall, we clean out the
Yeah.
ditches.
Yeah.
You remember that, okay.
Thank you, Sean.
You bet.
Okay, anything else? on this? Moving on, okay. Bayou Creek Road Maintenance. So, last month, we had a public comment, and I said, let's put this on the agenda. It's been on the agenda multiple times over really decades. And, so what I did, and for just this item only, I believe, we got Kathy? Okay, we have Kathy available on the phone if there's any questions that arise during this item. So you guys got this beautiful write-up that I had Kathy do to give us the background. She condensed it quite well, I think. And basically, in my mind, what it comes down to is a couple years ago, a former board had some heartache with being up there grading and working around Bayou Creek. It's an accepted road to the GID, and if you guys have seen the write-up and the public's got it too, there are some things with the easement road for a water pipeline that went across a couple of properties, and that's a road that GID has really worked on for a long time. And so the operations manager at that time was instructed to stay off it for now until we figure it out. So I just want the board to maybe have a discussion. I'm definitely going to take public comment. And I honestly, in reading the report that I had put together, or that Kathy put together for me, for the board and the public, I mean, I'm kind of leaning towards with getting Sean's input as well on the recommended item 1, that we just resume doing what we've done for years up there, and just keep status quo unless something happens and we can't. But I don't know what your guys'
First is, the one thing you said was the road is specifically in the GID improvement area responsibility.
The section by Deer Creek is an accepted road. The level
So
two.
there's like, what, like 480 feet?
Well, so I actually remember this quite well.
Oh, thanks, Marty.
Yeah, thanks.
And what happened was, is it was being graded. And then there was an owner of a property where that easement goes and where the easement's supposed to be. And we graded it, and he showed up at the meeting and said, now you're gonna pay me for all the damages of grading that road. And I remember that's when everyone wiped their hands of it and said, okay, fine, we're gonna step back. And the legal counsel also said at the time, step back, because we're not, GID can't go paying fines to, someone making up fines, but he had a point. Deeded access was over here, everyone started using where the water line went, because that was a better stretch of road than where the old road went, because the old road went through that rock pile. And wasn't-
Can I make a comment now?
Sure.
Oh, good.
Okay, you want my
Yes, please.
Steve Shore, 1700 Pike Creek Road. Okay. In 1979, Kathy Nash from Palomino Valley Real Estate, they were the ones who did all the selling, okay? She drove me down, we turned off Whiskey Springs Road, and she's going, yeah, we're gonna go right up there. And I looked up, I go, oh my God, we're gonna go up, straight up where that water tank is, and she goes, no, the road comes here. Now, she was the head person for Palomino Valley Real Estate selling this property. And she said, no, this is the road right here. We're gonna go down here and then we turn. But she was selling the property to me. Okay? And that was back in 80, 44 years ago. And so she drove me right up through there. It wasn't that anybody, all of us, well, Dee Dee was a little kid at that time, and Don wasn't quite living up there yet. But Dee Dee's dad, the other people that had houses up there, that road was cut perfect, right through there for us to go up there. So it wasn't something that all of a sudden the homeowners started doing. That was cut through straight.
No, and like I said, I know it was all after that one guy.
Shonut came in and
he said, how dare you cross my property?
Where is this one guy?
He's
dead.
passed away now,
Yeah, so
but the property is still owned by the
there's
widow.
no gate on it, never been a gate. There's, on either side of the road, there is a private property sign.
So, well, and so I'm wondering now, because, but
Yeah.
here's the thing, it's been enough years, does it fall into that grandfathered in? I need someone that has a legal land degree that can tell us that we can do that.
right.
And now, after reading through it again, I remember exactly this conversation 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I got another point also.
Can I get
How
your name?
long
Can you
is this
state your
stretch of road?
Can you state your name for the record, please?
Rick Sumner, I live up at 2155 Pine Creek Road. How long is this stretch of road where the alleged homeowner years ago complained?
What was it, 700 feet?
480.
480 feet.
That's
Sign say private.
Okay, well, what
480.
about the other 5,000 feet of road there? Can that just,
Property.
can that be maintained?
Can't get
The
to it
thing is-
without driving through.
Originally, when we talked about this, when Louis was around.
So say your name, please, she won't catch
Steve
it.
Shore, 1700 Pike Creek Road. What they said was, okay, there's no way he can keep people from driving across it. Run the grader across, but lift it at the sign, lift the blade, and drop it on the other side.
Yeah.
Hey, we were fine with that.
Okay.
couple of us that have some small tractors, we went up there and massaged it in a little bit. But then all of a sudden, about 2 years ago, I realized half of you guys weren't on the board at that time. The powers to be decided, well, gee, we don't want to do Paiute Creek. It's so far away, I guess.
Yeah, I see that in
No,
there.
no, wait, we got one other issue here with the whole thing. We have to make sure by law that those are easements that the general improvement district can in fact work on. So those pieces of, if we're going across a piece of property that's private property, no easement on it, we legally can't go work on that piece of
Well,
property.
that's why they
Unless-
said,
Unless we have these, but you understand that, right?
yeah, that's why they
You
said,
said bypass.
Slade,
And I'm,
drive for.
and time out. I'm gonna, just so you guys know, and you guys know, we're gonna do some latitude here with this conversation, even almost like a workshop thing, because this is important to a lot of people that showed up tonight.
Well, I'd like to see it
So,
get
yeah.
cleared up so this can actually be, because I do know a portion of it is inside the lines. And
Inside what lanes?
Property
the
line.
GID
Yeah.
district. And I know there's a portion that is. And the only reason it ever got stopped was because of that stretch of road. And it just turned into a pissing match, and so everyone
Okay, but
pulled us back.
I was the one who, my wife wrote a letter to Shomet's wife and said, hey, you have any problems, with the road, this and that, let us know if you have a problem. She never got back. I called her house, got on the recorder, I said the same thing. I'm in Steve Shore, I live at 1700 Paiute Creek Road. I talked to your husband before, and he actually came down to the meeting one time after I talked to him and said, I have no problem, go ahead and grade it because, these people are gonna be my neighbors someday maybe. And then he said, because the road was so bad in the wintertime. And then he goes, but, we're gonna do this, call me when the road's gonna be graded, and I'll say, yeah, yay or nay. Well, so anyway, I told her, I talked to your husband about this, blah, blah, blah. If you have a problem with the GID grading that 400 feet of road, let me know, or the GID. She never got back.
Okay.
So I did it because I've talked to lawyers before. You say, do you have a problem, let us know. If not, hey, thanks.
Can you hold on, Marshall, 1 second? Can I just get Sean's input on this real quick? So you've been here 7 years?
6 and some change.
Okay, so what have you done on that road in your career at the GID?
Graded it,
Okay, have you graded that 480 feet?
yes.
And what's the condition of the road right now? What do we need to do right now, moving forward, if you were to be back up there on this accepted road?
Well,
What's the issue?
the first section is manageable, but it's nothing but rock, right, and gravel. After you make the turn, we do have, and this goes to unfortunately some work that was done, and a lot of equipment went up there and took a lot of the fines away. And of course, the washing away of fines left nothing but lots of rock. It does need to be covered with, I believe, what I would probably use is wayside material. Only because I wouldn't want to bring DG because they drive too fast and it would wash. No, I'm just kidding. It would just washboard and
No,
go away.
wayside is what you have to
Yeah,
do.
and so, but there's also a lot of areas with the fire, dead trees that are in, right on the sides. There is no way to really get rid of the rocks because of a lot of trees. There is trees, I can't get to the end because trees are overhanging there and I'm not gonna take out my windshield. So there's trees and vegetation that need to be cleaned up in areas, but it's something that, again, there's not a lot of, there's maybe a section or two that I could pull, the dirt's there still, but there's a few areas that do need to have material brought to it.
How much do you think it's gonna time and cost wise to put that road back into a serviceable road?
I didn't do that calculation, so I,
So on that, Greg, my suggestion would be, because the board would have to say, hey, we're gonna
Just
approve
on that.
doing this work up
Right,
there.
right.
And currently, we have like a couple of things on the books that need to get done. So, I mean, my feeling is I'm still leaning on the number one recommendation myself, that we just maintain this accepted road. It obviously needs some material put up there. And so this is gonna have to have a cost, and be brought to the board to say, hey, yeah, we wanna spend X amount of dollars and haul some material up there and put it on that road. And I think we can do that in the future, once we get some of these other projects taken care of. But for tonight, I mean, my goal is I want these people to go home and say, we're part of the fold.
Yeah.
Right? We're part of the fold again, right? Because I'm not kicking them off. That's my feeling.
Well, that's why, I mean, maybe we make a pass on it, at least what we can, and know,
well,
and then we can identify what
here's
we
the big
need.
thing, right? And Deidre will, she's always been very good going, hey, I got some really good rain up here. Because that's what I need, is a lot of water. Because it's pure rock, especially the first section,
You know all
right?
about
And
that.
so, and then anything else, again, there's areas that you just can't touch because there's nothing to pull. And then you go a little ways and there's something to do, and some of those areas are still in good shape, actually.
Yeah.
So it's just the real rocky areas, and of course, the very beginning from off of Whiskey for the first 150 feet as usual, where everybody just woo, drives very slow. I mean, no, but yeah, I mean, I don't have any problem as long as you guys say I can do it.
That's, I think, why I wanted to agenda, because this was an action done, a lot of history here by a former board. And I think, unless someone's pounding the table in front of me now, I think we can take care of our accepted road.
Is this Kathy on the phone?
She is.
Kathy? You there, Kathy?
Yes, I am.
Question. And I'll ask it again. Other than that 480 feet, those roads are part of the general improvement regular roads?
Well, if you look at that diagram, the portion of the pipeline road that goes over Mr. Young's property,
Yeah,
that's also part of that, not granted easement. The white line that goes the curve around,
yeah,
that's the actual granted easement.
okay.
But Mr. Young has already, years ago, gave the GID permission to grade his section of the pipeline route. It was just Mr. Shelnut with the 480 feet.
Well, if the worst that happens then is we barely get 480 feet down and we get the rest of it fixed, would that be something to think about? Just do it? Okay.
Well, can I get Marshall real quick? Let's get Marshall.
Yeah, Marshall talked to the record, when I bought my place, Whiskey Springs was, I've got 14 acres on one side and the rest on the other. And the realtor told me, he says, if anybody builds on this thing, if you don't squawk, they can call it encroachment. And, your property goes, I don't know whether that works with the road or not, but you think that these folks have been driving over it all that time, that might be an encroachment. If you just check with a real estate attorney, there's a good possibility that they could, you could do that without even involving the property owner. It's been a long time.
And I don't disagree with Marshall, and I go back to my same thing, that until I have someone in here yelling at me and pounding this table, it's not an issue. In my mind.
But what I want to make sure is the general improvement district is okay by law to do what we're allowed to do. And that's where I keep coming back, and Kathy keeps coming back, is there's certain things we can do as an entity and certain things we can't do, and how do we get around making this work?
Are we any closer to hiring an attorney?
That's,
A little bit,
What's your public
a little bit.
Well, we didn't get anything for 10 years out of one attorney or 2 or 3 of them, so maybe we're just better off without, who knows?
My name is Don Duncan. I'm at 2100 Pike Creek Road. There is a culvert up there that is in really bad shape that needs to be repaired. Just wanted to mention
Where is it at?
that. It's just below my property.
I don't know. I don't know your
What's your,
property.
what number?
One
You know where
point
the-
5 miles up.
You know where my upper fence.
But see, I don't know if that's our culvert. That concrete culvert?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was told that's not ours.
That was,
That was
that was,
originally there.
yeah, that was.
I'll have to look
my-
at the culvert. I have a culvert, list of culverts, and I'll take a look at it. But we went up there and we're cleaning that, and I was told to stay away from it because it wasn't ours. I could have swore, but I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Another thing you have to take into consideration, okay,
this is Steve Short, again.
yeah. Okay, a lot of us up there aren't, I mean, you guys are younger than us, okay? Me, Don, Joe and Erica DePapolos, their dad and mom live up there. They're 90 plus years old. 15 years ago, guy that used to live up where Rick lives, he had a heart attack. It was wintertime. It wasn't a lot of snow or anything, just a light dusting. But when they brought Renza in, they couldn't get the ambulance past the bottom of the hill, right where the bad part of the road is. They couldn't drive up there. They had to walk up there about two miles up there, stabilize the guy. Then they had to carry him on a litter out. And they dropped the helicopter right down at the bottom of the hill there to take that guy out. And that's, now, if that guy would have died up there, don't you think someone might be coming back saying, the GID didn't grade our road? Look at what they did. They're supposed to grade it for 44 years now, and they decided they didn't want to do it?
First of all, nobody decided. I was told to stay off of it, and that's what I had to do until this meeting. Okay, I don't willingly just stop grading.
Yeah,
roads.
I realize
So-
that, but I mean,
But that section of road there's fence and hill. There's not a lot to really pull from on that road section right there. And you just had a bunch of work done where boulders and everything else were going up and down, and again, wiped out that road. So I believe that those people should have repaired some of that stuff.
I got a comment. I own a combined, 3,000
Name.
feet along that one
Sorry.
side of the road.
Name again?
Rich Sumner.
Thank you.
And, I, for one, will volunteer some time to, cut some of these trees that are, encroaching into the, road easement. There's a few of them that I drive by all the time that aren't on my property that I swear that, almost at the point of getting back, hit my truck, turning around and get my chainsaw coming down the cut. So, but anyway, I'll cut the ones on mine.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so I just want to get a resolution from the board on this. Can we go back to status quo with the operations manager? This road's on the grading schedule. And then we can tell these, I'll tell these folks that we will get a cost. And when our projects are off the books, the ones we have currently, hopefully in a few months, I'll agendize this with a cost and maybe.
And I have another employee.
And we have another.
With one exception, that we don't, the board is not going to direct the road manager, John, to do 480 feet of road. It's just there. You go up there and fix however what you can fix that's within our jurisdiction, and that's all we need to say right now. Thank you very much. That keeps the GID in the, I'm not putting it on you. You guys, everybody understands where I'm going. Okay, thanks. That's the approach.
Okay, so anything else?
Well, I'm hearing that some of us are leaning towards option one, which is just to maintain the entire section, including the 480 feet that are, of questionable, access. And then I'm hearing somebody else say maybe we should lift the blade over the 480 feet. So those are two different options. And I'm just saying, we gotta decide which one as a group.
We cannot direct an individual to do work on property that we do not have authority to work on.
And well, the thing about authority, Greg, and I guess I'm asking you, what do you think is the authority? Because it's my understanding that there are, that the Palomino Valley General Improvement District has a defined area that we can provide services to. And over the years, the GID has accepted certain roads. And it's my understanding that this road, correct me if I'm wrong, Kathy, but let me finish. It's my understanding that High Road falls within our district and that it has been accepted as a road years ago, decades ago, not just 10 years ago, but decades ago. And it was only when this one individual back in 2006, I mean, we're still talking about almost 2 decades ago. Yeah, late 2004. So when you talk about authority, it seems to me we have the authority. Am I wrong, Kathy?
No, you're correct. If you'll look back on this report, we did get legal counsel to say that the residents using that road for over 4 decades have a prescriptive right to use it, and those people gave us the GID permission to grade the road. And as prescriptive right holders, we were allowed to do that. Mr. Shelnut wanted us to lift the blade, and that one issue, whether or not the prescriptive right holders could give the GID permission to grade the 480 feet, that was the only questionable item. But at this point, what Mr. Shore said about contacting Shelnut's widow and her not responding, I really think that the GID should go with option one, and I believe you have every legal right to maintain that entire pipeline route.
They've shown due diligence. And
Oh, yeah.
I feel to do, that, the homeowner's shown due diligence.
Well, that's my
contact
opinion
everybody.
on it. I think
You
it
know.
just has to.
Hold up.
So it's a prescriptive right by now, after this many years. You can't
Right.
stop the people from driving on it. So I'm with you guys.
Okay, you know what, let's do that. Let's do.
We have another public comment.
George?
George Boyce, for the record. What happened to the original road?
That is the original.
Yeah.
No, there had to
was
be a
one.
deeded road.
George, come here, look at this.
Go take a look at it.
No,
Take a
it's
look.
just a Jeep trail that went off into the ditches and down a big bank, and now it's
It
through a
used to
creek
go
and-
like this and then it went straight across. the
Yeah,
Pettit
It's
Trail.
not feasible.
It is not feasible. The work that would have to go into that is not even.
Because it was such a poor layout,
Okay.
when they put the water, that's why the water line went where it went, because it was a lot easier. And so the water line became the road.
The original road came off of Right-Hand Canyon and went through Cherry Friedman's.
I was
Cherry
gonna say,
Friedman's
that's where it looked like
property
it kept going. It follows the
And
pole line, right?
Right up the
Yeah.
pole line.
Well, I was just curious why, when there was a deeded road, it wasn't being used.
Deidre Irwin.
I make a motion that the board resume responsibility for the Paiute Creek Road, including the 480 feet of pipeline road that has been subject of dispute in the past. I believe that there is probably a prescriptive easement. And based upon all the work that's been done both by Kathy and Mr. Shore and other residents, I think that we're good to go. So I move that we resume responsibility and maintenance of Paiute Creek Road.
I'll second that.
Let's take a public comment first.
I was just gonna add, in 78, when we bought up there, my parents, that road that is supposed to be the road had never been touched, or, I mean, it was overgrown already then. But, yeah,
There's always a
yeah, it's never been maintained
Right.
down that way by GO. It's always been this.
Yeah, like I said, it was just because I think Shelnut bought the property, read the deed and said, hey, look.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got his land survey, and the surveyor said, you know, the road's supposed to be over there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, moving on.
Welcome back.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's very good. You brought up good look at it.
Okay, number 7, unfinished business, none. New business, all others for possible action, review of Palomino Valley GID revenue conditions. Greg, take it away.
Does everybody have a copy? Because I wasn't sure whether you get that. That's okay. You're still excited about getting the road back. That's all right. Yeah, I got it here. I'm just gonna take a look. In case anybody hasn't have a copy. George, you don't have a copy
Hey,
yet.
Steve, it's good to see you.
This is one copy here.
Nice to see you.
Of all the monies that go to Washoe County. It's really interesting. See where your money goes, okay? Now, that's one file.
Are you sure you can see that?
Well, and then
Sorry to go.
the other one,
Like,
there we go,
Hey, they found the table.
is, and I have to thank Kathy for this because I wasn't gonna dig it up. Just- And the other item, right here, it's another page, says projected property taxes paid by Palomino Valley General Improvement property owners to, from Washoe County. It gives you the breakout of what the county ad valorem taxes take, and then there's a part of an ad valorem tax that we collect. So right now, if you want it in general terms, we could say the county gets 900,000, we get 400,000, and that's about 1.3 million a year. It's not. It was disappointing to me. I was hoping that the county was collecting a lot more, and they don't. So, in getting the object here is to get more funding from the county through ad valorem, which is pretty much impossible to do. I don't know if any general improvement district has ever really cracked that nut with regards to changing the structure of a general improvement district. And so we're kind of maybe stuck with this. I don't know. There are some solutions. Let's say we go to the county and we propose, well, if we put in $1, you put in $1, and maybe we can get up to 200,000 donation from the county and match it 200,000 from us. We don't have to put in to pay the extra. But in the extra $400,000 a year would do a lot of chip seal, a lot of tight days, a lot of things that would just really improve what we got going on. Maybe get 3 people working on the general improvement district instead of just 2, with me shaking his head. That's all right. We can argue.
Not now.
I
Here, you only need
understand. I understand.
That lead will be-
Yeah, well, we may need 3 when you, so that's just the way it is. But I don't see a lot of relief. The other way to do something, well, there's a couple of things. You can do a special assessment district. A special assessment district is set up in the law where it usually takes a vote of at least 50% of the people to make it work. And you might look around in the city, Reno and Sparks, and they do special assessment districts all the time. And that's because when the city goes in, they do a whole road network within a neighborhood. And they own all the road. So they have a mechanism where nobody can really fight the special assessment district. Here, they say they take a vote for everybody to vote at least over 50%. And do a special assessment and collect monies additionally to fund the general improvement district. So you got that one, a special assessment district. Another one, maybe we can get the county twist their arm to maybe match something with us, but I doubt it. But, and the other way is everybody buy a 4-wheel drive and stay in a 4-wheel drive. But I don't know. It's not an easy situation. Yes. Bob Marshall, yes.
For the record, you know, the infrastructure bill, there's money all over the place. Is there any way that we can go straight to the federal government and get a grant?
Well, I don't know if we have any grant writers here, but John was very successful working with the county on one of the grant writers. A couple of years ago, he got over 200,000 for stuff up in Right Hand Canyon. I don't know if we can pull that together again. But we need essentially, my guess was we need to put this system back, and I don't want to go through a whole bunch of things, but imagine you have a road, and you guys all know what I'm talking about. You look at the roads, and they all kind of look like canals, like the water goes into the road and it's a canal, because it's never been built back up the way it's supposed to be. And the drainage ways don't work, and those kind of things. And the money it takes to put the system, whole system back together, and then keep maintaining it, is there's where huge amounts of costs are, because there are roads. You go Peak Road. There's a whole bunch of roads. Rangeland used to be. I can show you pictures of that where you drive through the water, and the water was over a foot and a half, foot deep, and we've taken those roads, a bunch of them, and raised them up and made the drainage right. And Wilcox did the same thing. And that all takes, that's all part of that capital improvement project. But if we had enough money to do, say, 2 capital improvement projects every year, we might be able to make a bigger dent in what you're doing, Sean. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, and you gotta realize too, it seems like these days, number one, I know that in the past things were graded off to the side. I do not grade off to the side anymore. I never have. One thing I wanna say is, again, a lot of times, I'm sorry, Greg, just real quick.
No, you go right ahead.
When you're seeing the dusting blowing by your truck and it goes away, that is your road leaving. And that's what's happened since 73, is all the road and the dust that you see, especially when we have our great UPS trucks and our trash trucks. I mean, yep, they're over there. You can see where they're at. And so that leaves our road. And yes, you can bring some back in for sure, and I do try and do that, except for where there's nothing but boulders. And anyway, so it is something that, to build up the roads, we've done a few. I still think that some you're not going to build them up to the natural. It's just not feasible. But if we do cover them and then stabilize them with the mag, they hold together beautiful.
And you brought up one thing too that's interesting. We did a sufficient amount of mag chloride on rangeland as part of that experiment. And you drive down that road, there's no dust. No dust. So you get a little bit, but nothing compared to anywhere else where you have an actual dirt road. And Sean's idea of every year we get 10 miles of more of our dirt roads paved or put back together. And I think that's a very admirable goal, but it takes a huge amounts of money to take the roads from where they're so degraded and bring them back up where they're only maintained with a Class E base and you keep it nice and pretty all the time. So that's one of the huge things that we face in terms of costs. So I was kind of thinking about, well, if we still got to maintain the chip seal because there's no way out of that. There's some roads that go back in, a couple of those roads, 3-4 miles worth of
Well,
chip seal.
and that's
We have
something,
13 miles of chip seal or so we have to maintain.
next year, that was one of the things heading past Right Hand Canyon, that there's a lot of patching that needs to be done.
Right. There's always going to be that kind of stuff. So
Just to say this, when we started off with the E,
yeah,
we were at 10,000 a mile,
yeah.
and now we're at 20 plus.
Ouch. Okay,
So
well,
we want to make sure everybody understands that.
20,000 a mile,
Yeah, plus, yeah.
okay.
So it gets more expensive, and I keep thinking about, okay, I have some fiduciary responsibility to come back here with the numbers, and the numbers say to me, we're continually in the hole to what we need to do, and we're never going to keep people happy because you can't do that when you don't have sufficient funds to really make everything the way everybody wants it. It's just that's the way it is. That's why I was grateful you guys came in and talked about what you needed. That was good. So there you go, you guys. Special assessment district. You got let's go back to the county. We'd have to show up with about 100 people at the county offices or county meetings if that ever got agendized. So that would be important. I mean, literally, there'd have to be 100 people. Otherwise, it just doesn't. No, they don't see a lot of people. The politicians don't react. And the other thing is, how do we squeak by with what we got now? And so far, I think that Sean's done coming up with buying equipment the way he has and keeping things going the way he has. As a one-man show, we're doing pretty good. Didn't have any questions more on that?
Yeah, I would interject on that, Greg, on your ideas that, I think the county, like, getting money out of the county, like if they have grant money available, I think is
That's all.
affable
Right.
and an avenue to do.
Right.
And I think we're on their radar now.
Right.
I think the other thing is, kind of to what Marshall was saying, is getting like more money, like in revenue, I think is gonna be a tall hill to climb. But I think grant money is probably the easiest thing. And yeah, we only did it once in the last 4 years. Okay, so it's not something that's like, it's not low hanging fruit. But last year, Greg, we tried to get the 2 independent contractors to a grant workshop at the county. They got sideswiped, but next year I'm sure they'll get on.
They
on
had
the list.
so many people apply,
And there's only
and
12
they only took
spots?
12 people, but everybody.
And so I want to keep doing that.
But that's not going to keep us above water.
And the other
Just so
thing
you know
is,
that.
and the other thing is too, and I'm, I threatened to do this and I'm not sure after the election.
Yeah, you gotta be here next year. Okay.
Not my election. I gotta make sure that Congressman Amadeus is still in office.
Oh, I understand that, yeah.
I mean, we have to reach out to our federal representatives and make them see our plight and make an argument. And it doesn't have to just be Amadeus. It could be whatever. It could be Masto. It could be whatever the other senator is coming next year. But that would take like, I think, board members to reach out, even write letters, phone calls, meet with them, and just pound the table with them, just so they know we're here. And sometimes that'll, I think sometimes that'll be an avenue to filter money our way. Federally.
I totally agree with you that we shouldn't stop those
Do
avenues.
you help us?
So-
I mean, and every little bit helps. That's a
So
good, like he
what you're
said,
saying, is we need eyes and ears, Robin, and Angie, we need eyes and ears on what's happening there. And any grants and any of those kind of things, we don't want to miss those opportunities. And then scheduling and doing the work in the grant writing is, so we wouldn't stop on that. And the other avenue would be, I don't know, I haven't looked into the avenue with regards to if we contribute a certain amount, if the county can contribute a certain amount. You know, I don't think they're just gonna give us anything without us having a little extra pain.
I think your idea of a special assessment district is viable. I just don't know if it's viable in this voting district.
Okay.
That's not.
There's
Because-
one other solution.
Because I don't feel like we live in a district where we're gonna vote for a tax.
Let's go back to the history books.
Yeah.
There was, when the special plan area got in place, all the flood programs, all the major roads, everything within that special area plan was going to be taken care of. Zero was happening. And they in fact gave all the money back to those people. I don't know, it was $6,000 or $8,000, I forget what it was, that paid in the fees for road improvements that were supposed to happen within the special plan area. The county right now, from the way I understand the books, the way it's wrote, everything's no more than 5 acres. And they're just gonna let the thing build out at 5 acres. That's my guess. But still, that's a huge amount of roads and dirt roads and McCain's and tripling and quadrupling of the traffic and all kinds of fun things that add to the problems. Now, you're lucky you live up there, away from a lot of people. You don't have to drive through or anything. So that's another way to force the county or the just general improvement district could look into fees and implementation of connection fees, or just like the Reno Art, the regional RTC, the Regional Planning Commission that does all the roads. They charge a nominal amount, but they haven't raised their prices hardly at all. I don't know how they do it, but the developers kind of, I think, control that. But that's one other way they could do it. So you got 4 or 5 different avenues, but they all amount to find the guy moving in, maybe they ought to pay $10,000 for keeping the roads here. But the problem is $10,000 isn't going to maintain that road forever. So 10 years down the road, you still got all the same kind of problems, only worse, because you've added all those people and we haven't found a financial way to keep this whole area here whole with regards to roads. And my guess is that the roads here are the most important thing, I guess. I mean, just be able to get home. Like you said, just can't even get home when a guy has a heart attack. And it's I want to see people that have access to the roads. I think every one of these board members here, that's the most important thing. You got to be able to get into that. So anyway, I thought this would be interesting. You got any ideas on where we ought to go and why not? Thank you for your time.
Is public comment? I'll be Deidre.
Deidre Irwin. I mean, there's gotta be some way to maybe even get federal because of the growth that's happened. I mean, we've just went explosion here lately. So I would look into federal because if they end up bringing more out this way, they're gonna be selling those 5-acre lots. And I don't understand why they're not contributing more because you guys are maintaining Broken Spur, Amy, where all that traffic's going to those smaller lots.
It's a problem. It is a big problem. You're right.
Yeah.
George, George Boyce for the record. I brought this up before. The deal, when they buy a building permit, in that you have parks and recreation, and we have not got a park out here. I don't know why that money is not directed to this deal area here to be used on the road.
Because we're the wheel that doesn't squeak.
Yeah, but we have representatives, Urban's on the board. She should bring this up. We should, as board members, should bring it up to her, saying we need this to be looked into. Why should we be paying these new people that move out here, paying for parks and recreation. The nearest one's a Lazy Five. I mean, it don't make sense, that we're paying the people. That's not raising the taxes. It's just redirecting the taxes to better use. I realize the Park and Recreation Department won't like it, but I think as a board, you should pressure our representative of the district to bring this up. It's like you as the head of the board here, you can put something on the agenda. I don't say it's going to get passed, but you can put it on there. She ought to be able to put it on the agenda with the county. At least it would be brought up.
Thank you, George. Can we make sure that we put that in as part of the items that we, things we came up with? Thanks. That's a good point, George.
Any other public comment? Any board discussion?
I'll just point out, in terms of what George said, that, it's my understanding that the park money that was spent out in here is for the shooting range. That instead of a park, we were provided with the shooting range. And which of course we use, some of us use it, I've used it. But also lots of people throughout the county come out and use it as well. In addition, they also do a lot of shooting off of Montgomery Ridge Road, but,
The shooting range is now privately owned.
it's not privately owned, it's
It's
privately
leased.
operated.
Right,
Yeah,
operated
yeah.
by.
So they-
Does that mean the landowner can use it free?
Well, I intend to follow up on that, because in fact, I've already sent something to, Eric Brown about it, because I'm, now it's an issue, is it really still ours to use as a park and rec kind of thing, or is it a private business that's doing something and making money? And I'm not against them making money, but it was supposed to be our park, and it's not.
You probably could show your ID and they would probably go, you're good to go. I'm not gonna speak for stuff.
Well, yeah, I don't know, so we have to follow up on that. And I'm on the cab, as some of you may know, and that was an issue we brought up at the cab meeting, rural cab meeting, so it's something that we can pursue. The thing is what George is saying is if we're not gonna get money from parks, we don't have a park, and we don't, let's face it, we don't. Then why can't we take the money for that and put it towards our GID? And I don't know how easy that is, or if it would take legislation, but until we ask the questions, you know what the answer always is? It's no until you ask, right? So we have to ask.
Yeah, but as a board, you should be able to go to Herman and take and say, hey, we would like this brought up on the county's agenda. And let the county say no, and then we can worry about it.
Mhm.
I mean, as a board member, any one of you can bring up something you want done or put to the public as a board member, and she can do the same thing with the county. She can bring it up. And if she don't feel that she wants to bring it up, there's always the ballot box to take her out.
Thank you, George.
Thank you. That's it.
Okay. You good there?
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. I just wanted everybody that, I don't have the solution. I need a $400,000 retainer on some attorneys, and I'll show you how to make some moves. Unless I had that, I don't think so.
Okay, number 9, correspondence.
We've been having some correspondence with an attorney, looking at the possibility of hiring him, and still in the early stages of that, but the board is looking at that, and we are working on that. And that's basically the only person I've been corresponding with this month. And that's what I have on that. On the calendar, our next meeting is on October 16th. September's a nice quiet month. Not a lot on there, so that was nice. And
Okay.
Oh, and good job so far, Sean, because when I've been reading the roads and stuff, One man show. You're not doing too bad.
October 17th, right?
16th. Is it 17th?
17th is a Thursday.
That would be the right day.
So it's October 17th.
Okay, board member and staff items, anything? Okay. Public comment on matters not listed on this agenda. Any other? Marshall, I'll take Marshall first this time.
Marshall Tompkins, two folks in here I don't know. I'm running for the positions that are open on the board. And, as far as I'm concerned, I'll let you put a face to the name.
What was your name again?
Marshall Todd.
And Deidre?
I just want to reiterate, I know Sean had said something about from right hand up to the end of Whiskey Spring. Before we get any snowfall and everything, if we could try and put some bar ditches along with a little bit more patch, because those roads, everything runs across the road, and it's just a mess when we get rain for that reason, but the potholes are just tearing the shit across. So, if that's at all possible to get done, because it hasn't been completely done in years, if ever.
Well, the big problem with that one section is Paul's Mountain. There's a lot of
What
hillside.
falls off,
It's
yeah,
just, yeah, so that's why it's been, but
but the rest of it is so overgrown with sagebrush, it hasn't been touched.
well, and again, some of that isn't affecting the drainage. And believe it or not, a lot of that stuff I find, unfortunately, keeps people from our edges. And that's our most delicate parts of our road is the edges. But anywhere where I look and I can see there's no ditch, I will go up there and work on it. But
Any other public comment? No. And I just want to say, I appreciate the board for giving us some latitude with the Fire Creek thing and just letting people just kind of talk. But, we'll try to rein it in next week. Okay. Gentlemen,
Move to adjourn. Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried,
Whoa.
adjourned at 7.
Hour and 18 minutes, that's a long meeting. Oh dear.
Not in the overtime on that.